that thing was not getting lubricated, and I can tell you because a part was missing. Hey, real quick before we start this video, a lot of you guys have been asking for team shirts. Finally, Autohaus has t-shirts, so it would really help out a lot if you supported the shop, got some merch, some shirts, stickers, support the media work, support me and my dog. Check out that merch store so I don't starve you guys. Nissan S14 transmission rebuild. Why don't we go see what's inside? Yoink. Alright, so ignore these numbers right here. This is really a 71C, which means it's a S14 transmission. I always recommend to S-chassis guys to upgrade up to the S14 transmission. They made a whole bunch of improvements and revision to this transmission that make it well worth the upgrade from your S13 box. Another way you can tell this is a S14 bell housing is it's got this provision to bolt on the crank sensor. Alright, so if you notice, this transmission has been painted silver on the back half. Every single transmission that has come to me with an issue and it's been painted, I could already tell it's a piece of crap on the inside. And even more funny, it looks like someone had to mix and match two transmissions before with the tail shaft just being painted. And we'll go into it later looking at all the gears, but sure enough, an unskilled hand has been through this transmission before. Yeah, if we check out the tail shaft, you can see we've done some deburr work on the inside. Usually that'd be full of casting flash. And that goes up to here. Also, brand new tail shaft bushing from Omega Machine, which is right here, pretty much local to us, Sacramento, California. Yeah, that tail shaft bushing, we and my assistant contacted at least 6 different places. All of them said discontinued, don't know when it's gonna come back. So very fortunate enough that there's still a company making a replacement tail shaft bushing for these transmissions. Why do we replace that tail shaft bushing? You'll find out in a second too when we look at the transmission. Again, unskilled hands touching the inside of this thing. All right, so why do we replace that tail shaft bushing? Hopefully you guys can make it out how scarred up the inside of this guy is. Oh, you can see some really deep scratches back there. So yeah, how did this happen? So if you take a look inside this tail shaft, there's actually an oil slide that goes all the way back to here. And so this guy feeds oil to this tail shaft bushing and the yoke of the front drive shaft. So what's supposed to happen, I believe it's first gear. As first gear is turning, there's an oil gutter that spits the oil and channels it through all the way through so that this tail shaft bushing and in turn the output shaft gets lubricated. My diagnosis is that that thing was not getting lubricated, and I can tell you because a part was missing. So we have our center section here. In this center section, I believe it's right here, there's actually supposed to be an oil gutter. And that oil gutter, again, when this gear spins, first gear throws oil into the gutter. You see the gutter exit? It feeds oil into that oil gutter to feed the tail shaft bushing. This piece you gotta fold down like some origami stuff from the factory. But yeah, this guy is supposed to be there and it was missing inside this transmission. So basically oil was getting, circulated like normal, but it wasn't getting fed into the right spot, which in my opinion tore up that tail shaft bushing. So yeah, needless to say, brand new Nissan oil gutter. We're gonna put this guy back the way it should be. Iron center section, bead blasted, deburred all the oil channels and any of the casting flash. You can probably see we got some nice paint all around this guy. All right, cool. Why don't we take a look at this stuff on the bench? All right, so originally this customer brought this transmission to us for a rebuild. He's got multiple S chassis. You can find him at Powered by Jonelle on Instagram. And the biggest concern was that a whine in all gears except for fourth that goes away with clutch in. So very familiar symptom for me, but why don't we take a look at what I found. Again, whine in all gears except for fourth, which on this transmission, fourth gear is the input shaft. And then here's counter fourth, the companion gear. Look carefully, hopefully the camera can pick this up. So right there, there's a line right there in the middle of each of these gear teeth. There's that line again right there. And so basically what happened is the hardening has worn off the tooth. Very common, I've seen this a lot, that because the hardening's worn off and the tooth are worn, you'll have a whine in every gear except fourth, because fourth locks the input and the output together. And yeah, really common I've seen when the input shaft is about to fail, or bad input bearing especially, where it's bad enough where the input shaft's allowed to like walk like this and the gears get excessive and abnormally worn. I've seen low fluid levels which will tear up these gears. You'll see the gears turn black, which means dirty, low fluid level, overheated gears. And let's check out the companion gear. All right, so again, counter fourth gear. Oh, there we go. This is much better.
That's what she said.
So yeah, hopefully you guys can see how badly, I think it's called spalling, where like the hardened surface breaks apart like that. There we go. So the companion counter fourth was much worse than the gears on the input shaft, but regardless, this is sort of excessive gear tooth wear is absolutely going to cause a gear whine in all gears except for fourth. So yeah, this guy's going in the garbage. Some other ways I could tell someone's been through this trans before. This is the nut for the counter shaft, which holds the assemblies together. Same thing, the output shaft has a locking nut. If you notice, see those two marks? This guy got reused and restaked at some point. I'm gonna pick this up so I don't mess it up. Yeah, see, 1, 2, ding, ding. You're not supposed to do that. These nuts are one-time use only. Oh, so another critical thing, totally forgot. There is a select fit spacer that goes in front of the counter front bearing, and this basically controls the amount of end play of the counter shaft. When I opened this up, believe it or not, the spacer was completely missing. What does that mean? So if you can imagine, with no way to control the end play, the entire counter shaft is doing this, absolutely exacerbating the wear and creating this disaster you see that essentially destroyed the fourth gear set, including the input shaft. So yes, somebody tried, an unskilled person tried, that's why it's back here. Or I should say that's why it's back here with us to get repaired the correct way. Also a lot of cool upgraded goodies too. A few of the big advantages of the S14 trans, the fourth gear set, so counter fourth gear, and then also the input shaft, the gears are physically thicker. So in this diameter as compared to a S13, and it's pretty significant amount, which, you know, in short makes the gear stronger. Second gear, pretty cool, gets a 3-piece synchro for second gear for better shifting. And then also reverse has a synchronizer on it on the S14 trans. So this customer plans to road race and also street drive his S14. I highly recommend it to WPC and deep cryogenic treat specific parts of the transmission. So yeah, why don't we go take a look at those. All right, so on this shelf we have all the parts that are going off to CTP cryogenics and WPC treatment in SoCal. And all these will get the works to help with gear strength, longevity, fatigue resistance, all that good stuff. From AMP Gear, brand new fourth gear set. So this and then the input shaft, brand new stuff come as a set. You could probably see we've already done some light deburr work. Even brand new gear sets will need some deburr work. But yeah, pretty sweet, brand new gears. Let's see, so this should be third. You can see our deburr work, smoothing out the oil channels. You can even open these up. Normally these are all grainy on the inside. Smooth out the surface so oil does not get trapped in there, and it can get flung out and lubricate where it needs to. Again, deburr all the wear areas. You can see these gear teeth deburr, the casting flash. I hog out these really fat on third gear on a S chassis trans. It's the oiling holes I'm talking about. So not only as a good side effect, it helps lighten the gear. A lighter gear means a smoother shift. Again, this will help out with oil flow. This should be brand new 3/4 sleeve from AMP Gear. It also comes with the sleeve and the hub assembly as one piece. We're just gonna WPC and cryo the 3/4 sleeve. 1/2 sleeve, I believe we're still waiting FS4 from Japan. Common theme here. The parts for these are not easy to get. I can't even get majority of this stuff in the US, so a lot of parts from the UAE and also Japan we're waiting for. The entire counter shaft, again, deburred, thoroughly inspected and cleaned before we send this entire guy off to WPC and cryo treatment. The biggest thing is getting these gears treated. So that should be first, second, and third gear. Yeah, second gear probably are all of our favorite power gear. You can see the deburr work. You can tell this is second because it looks, those 4 dots, this is the one with the 3-piece synchro on it. Again, cleaning up these oil channels. Just on the side, I have a T50 fifth gear. I'm gonna get this thing treated just so we can have a demo in the shop. It's funny, I've had a few customers come in here, ask for the WPC, like what is the WPC process, what does it look like? I'm gonna send this guy off as a demo piece, and I'll just hold on to this so customers can see what the process looks and feels like. Output shaft, it's clean. We're waiting for it to, we're just have it over here for a clean assembly. We're not gonna go treat this guy. Same thing, we just got the front plate over here for clean assembly. And when I say clean, I mean really clean. Yeah, no nonsense here. Isn't that right, dog? So yeah, I've had many requests for an update on this S14 rebuild. The original S14 rebuild bench test has been tremendously popular, so hoping to document more of this process. Again, we're waiting on one more piece, the 1-2 shift sleeve from Japan, before we send all those parts in on that shelf over to CTP Cryogenics for WPC and deep cryogenic treatment. Next update, when those gears come back, I'll show you guys what the gears look like after the treatment, and then hopefully we can get to assembly, because I am excited as heck, and so is the owner, to finally have a solid S chassis trans after, and a lot of you guys can probably sympathize, after so many good used units which ended up being all pieces of crap. Or a more nice way to say it is, like, good used means it still has some quirks that you find out, unfortunately, by surprise once you put it in and start driving the car. But yeah, hopefully this rebuild will be useful to you guys. Questions, comments, what you guys would want to see in future updates, make sure to leave it in the comments below. Appreciate the support. Catch you guys next time.